My name is Lorna. I'm 53 years old. To my belief, and as far as I'm concerned, I've always believed in God. I've not always been sure what my God looks like, but I've always believed that there is a power greater than myself, greater than this being, this world. I grew up in sort of a Christian house. I was born and bred in Birmingham, and my mum and my stepfather were West Indian, and they were quite religious. So my concept of Jesus was a strict God. I used to remember getting dressed for Sunday school, and we had to be prim and proper. So I always grew up with the belief that God was a punishing God, and that you had to come correct, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be accepted. I didn't at the time call it his kingdom, but God wouldn't love you. So you had to behave, you had to do what's right. So growing up with that kind of mentality was quite conflicting, and it was quite scary, really. And so I always kind of feared God. I kind of didn't see him really as this loving God. I seen him as a punishing God because of the household which I grew up in, which was quite dysfunctional. Jumping ahead of myself now, that belief has always been there, but like I've said, I always believed God was a punishing God, not a loving God. So by the age of 14, after going through everything I went through in my family home, which was quite dysfunctional, my mother used to beat me, she used to abuse me mentally, physically, and so I didn't really believe that this God was loving anyway. So by the age of 14, I left home and ran away, and became a runaway between the ages of 14 and 19. I didn't really consider God then. I didn't really kind of think about him, believe in him, worshipping. I knew that he was around, I knew that there was a God, but I didn't really want to know him because I didn't believe he wanted to know me. So therefore I got on with my life and got into addiction by the age of 19. A lot of things happened while I was homeless and addicted to drugs. And I will say what I was addicted to because I think it's important. I was addicted to alcohol, heroin and crack cocaine. Now, in doing all these kind of mood changing substances, I got lost, I lost who I was, I lost where I was going, I lost the reasons why I was on earth, and I lost my belief in God, because I used to tell myself, if there was a God, then I can get emotional now. I always get emotional. I told myself, if there was a God, I wouldn't be going through what I would be going through, and I wouldn't be on my own out there going through all that. I'd have a mother who cared for me, I'd have a father who loved me, and I'd have a sister who wanted to kind of be that big sister and be there and care for me. So it was really a difficult couple of years in addiction, and it was a really, I felt really detached from my spirituality and my belief in God, I kind of didn't know who this higher power was or what he looked like, and if he was there, why the hell wasn't he helping me, why wasn't I happy, why wasn't I being loved, why wasn't I being cared for, all these things that he said that he would do, all these things that are in the Bible, why wasn't it happening for me, where was my paradise, where was my enlightenment and that unconditional love that I'd been seeking all my life from I was yay high. So a lot of things happened whilst I was in the community homeless, and in and out of addiction and going into prison. But in all of that, I don't know where I'm going, but in all of that, when I was out there in the community on drugs, in all of that, whilst I was going in and out of prison, in all of that, even though I didn't think that he loved me because I was so tainted, I was so damaged, I was so disobedient, in all of that, I strongly believed that there's times when I've been at my lowest that it reminds me of the footprints in the sand. There's that poem about the footprints, you know, when that person says to God, where were you when I needed you most? And he says, my child, when I needed you most is when I carried you. In all of that, I believe that that's what God done for me. Because every time I went to prison, it was like I was being saved, I was being rescued, I was being lifted up and put into a place of safety so I could be restored to sanity, so to speak. And it's through being in prison that I was able to get some form of contact with what God looked like, because I was away from the drugs, I was away from the hostile environments, I was away from the abusive people, and I was put in an environment that although women were going there for doing wrong and committing crime, we were also there, in my eyes, to be saved. And that's what I believed. I believe God put me there because he loved me that much. He knew that if he left me out there, I wouldn't be here today. And there's many, many of times that I went in prison and not looked at it as a punishment, but looked at it as a home, because in there, not only did I get the prison staff loving me, wanted to help me direct my life, probation, drug workers, but I also found my Christianity in there. I seen what God looked like through the chapel. You know, in my darkest days I went there, and the comfort that I found by being in that chapel was second to none. It was a place that I could go to and I could sit down and I could say, here I am. What do I do now? Where do we go from there? If you're real, show me that you're real. If you love me, show me that you love me. If this is unconditional love, let it be so, but let me feel it, let me know it, because I need something that's visible through all that I've been through in life, through all the kind of craziness that I've believed in my head, for the way I was brought up in that abusive environment, mentally and physical. I look at myself as a failure, I look at myself as worthless, I look at myself as useless, I look at myself as unlovable. So if you're a God, if you're up there, show me that you love me and show me that you mean it. So I found lots of my spirituality in there, and I got a lot of hope, and it never lasted long though, although I seen what God looked like, and I wanted to be part of his world, and I wanted to be his daughter, and I wanted to make him proud of me. I feared it, I feared him, because I just believed he was so judgmental, and that's because learnt behaviour when I was a child. You know, I believed that he'd punish me, you know, how could he love me? I'm so damaged, I'm so disobedient, how can this God love me? How can he? No one loves me. No one loves me, no one cares. And it sounds quite self-pitying, but it's what I believed. It's what I believed in here, in the core of me. I believed that I was unlovable. So my parents didn't love me, my sisters didn't love me, everyone buggered off. Why would he love me? So every time I came out, it fluttered away, and I'd get back into drugs. But one particular thing happened a couple of years ago. I was in the community, and I was at a low, and it was a really, really dark time, and something happened, and I don't know where this is going to go, or if another woman's going to see it and another woman can identify with what I'm about to say. But when you're in the darkness, you meet dark people, and if you're vulnerable and you're in the darkness, and there's dark people in there. They will abuse you. They will violate you. They will not let you have a voice or have a say, and they'll do things to you that you don't think you can ever tell anybody, or you're too scared to tell somebody. Don't be. You have a voice, and speak your truth, and bring these perpetrators to justice. And that's what I did once I was abused. I went into prison, and one or two organisations came in there, and I was introduced to the Nelson's Women's Centre, and I was able, by the grace of God, to go to a treatment centre in Stroud. At the time it was called Covington, no, at the time it was called Gordon House. It's now called Covington House after Stephanie Covington. And that's when I knew that he cared about me. That's when I knew that he loved me, because it was in there that I found who God really was and what he looked like. It was in there that I found my voice, and it was in there that as a woman, they taught me that I wasn't, I'm not damaged, and they gave me a voice that said that I'm not broken, and if I am, I'm beautifully broken and not unrepairable. And they was able to give me my self-worth back and my self-esteem. And I was able to look at some of the stuff that I'd been through, some of the things that I'd learned as a child that were lies. You know, they were lies, they were orchestrated by the devil. And my higher power told me that I'm beautiful. My higher power told me that for this moment in time, Lorna, I'm going to remove you from society, I'm going to put you there, and that is your cocoon. And in that cocoon, you will be transformed. In that cocoon, you will be restored. And when you leave that cocoon, you will be a butterfly and you will be able to fly. And it sounds quite romantic and poetic, but that's what my God is. That's what he is. You know, because of where I've been and where I've come from, he handles me like a little child. You know, he's not a resentful father as I thought he was. He's not a punishing father as I thought he was. We have conversations, and when I'm praying and I feel like he's not listening to me because I'm special and I'm important and I need to be listened to when I'm being prayed, I'll say, "Yoo-hoo, are you there?" And he'll say, "Yoo-hoo, I've never left you." And that's the relationship that I have with my God, and where I'm able to kind of have that relationship with him and have that kind of childlike conversation with him. And as I'm growing, as I'm maturing in life, as I'm trying to find my way in a society, in a community that I believe is hostile. It's hostile. There's hostile people out there, especially when you're coming from a background such as mine. You know, it's very hostile, and I need a power greater than myself. I need to know that my God is with me, and I need to know that he accepts me and he loves me regardless of who I am, regardless of where I've come from, that he takes me as I am because I'm not unrepairable. You know, I'm fixable and I am beautiful, although I grew up in a world that made me feel ugly, made me feel less than. You know, I have a God that transforms. I have a God that restores, you know, and it's hostile out there, and I'm back in the community now for the first, I think I'm coming up to 6 weeks back in the community, and I've got Nelson supporting me. I couldn't do this without them. They've always been with me. My support worker, Tina, she's always been with me and, you know, never left me. And and always been in my corner, and everyone's always left me, but she's never left me. She's always been there, no matter what. She's been there for me. And I'm now in a Christian home, which is always where I've wanted to be, and it's called One Church, and I'm working with some amazing people, and they're helping me find my spirituality also, and getting to know my God, because I was scared of him and I didn't know what it looks like, and I've got so much demons on my case, surrounding me. I'm surrounded by the enemy, and it's called addiction, it's called alcoholism, and it's called a hostile community. So with all that, I need my eyes to be fixed on my God. I need to be fixed on beauty, and I need to be fixed on a faith bigger than myself, and I need to have hope that I can get through this. This will work. Keep your eyes on God. That's your target. Everything else he will take care of, because he's put, he's gave me the aid that I need. He said to me that I want for nothing. He said that he'll provide everything that I need. I will want for nothing. So long as I keep my eyes on him, all will be well. And so far, all is well. There's days when I think that I can't do this. I'm going to go back to the dark side. I'm going to slip over to the dark side. But he said, keep your eyes on me. Yoo-hoo, I'm over here. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just moving forward, and my eyes are on my God, and and I know what he looks like, and he's told me. And this might seem, if you don't know me, then it probably would seem like a bit of arrogance. It's my truth, and I can say it with pride. He's told me he's designed me for something. He's told me that he's designed me to help another woman climb her mountain. He's told me that that is my purpose on this earth, is to help another woman climb out of that pit and that darkness, and have a voice, and know that at the end of the day, whatever she's been through, it cannot define who she is. My addiction, my brokenness, my childhood, today, I will not let it define who I am and who I intend to be, because I have a God that says I can be anything that I want to be. And in him, in Christ, I stand. That's me.